Step 7 in the copywriting shortcut success system is coming up with your hook. What you've done is you've went through the pains, fears, and frustrations that you figured out for your prospect and the ideal solution that they want. You've constructed an offer that helps alleviate all those pains, fears, and frustrations and gives them the picture that they've been picturing in their mind. And you figured out how to package your offer in a way that has the most increased value. So it makes your offer as irresistible as possible. To avoid having your prospect procrastinate, you've induced scarcity elements so they'd feel pain if they delayed making the decision and taking action on your offer. You developed a story to engage them, and along the way you've given them every single great benefit to the greatest degree that you can to really hook them in, and then you prove that all your claims and all your benefits are substantiated with your proof elements. So you've pretty much done everything you need to do as far as the research is. If you look at your worksheet that I've given you, you notice that there's only 6 steps that you have to fill out on the worksheet. Step 1, research. Step 2, offer. Step 3, scarcity. Step 4, story. Step 5, benefits. Step 6, proof. Before we actually get into organizing the proof and everything else, we got to come up with a hook. Now, why? Why is a hook important? Well, it's simple. You need a way to distinguish yourself from every other distraction that's out there, or potential distraction, and draw immediate focus to your offer. I don't care how good your offer is and how good your copy is. If people don't read it and if it doesn't grab their attention and their interest, you're not going to get readership and you're not going to get sales. If people don't know your offer exists, they're not going to buy it. So you need to come up with a hook to hook them in. So they will read your offer. They will read the benefits. They will read your proof elements. They will read your scarcity elements. They will understand your offer. You need to come up with a hook to grab their attention. And I want to illustrate to you exactly what I mean with an example. I do consulting work and I do client work where I critique people's sales pages and help them with their copy to make it more persuasive. So, for example, this is a client. A client gave me this headline. Here it is: discover how to save money every day, cut your expenses, reduce debt, and stash cash. I call this the 1920s headline. See, these kind of hooks, simple benefit-driven hooks, worked really well in the 1920s because they were relatively new and your prospects hadn't seen them before. So the benefit by itself was a hook. So saving money, cutting expenses, reducing debt, and stashing your cash was the hook. But the problem is, since 1920, your prospects have seen a million products that have promised to do this. They've seen the same old thing over and over and over again, so therefore it doesn't hook them in anymore because it's too familiar with them. So your hook has to be a unique device that's going to grab them and suck them into your copy. So this is what I took with this client. Here was the before. Discover how to save money every day, cut your expenses, reduce debt, and stash more cash. Now here's what I came with for a headline with a hook. How to live a $100,000 a year lifestyle on a $20,000 a year budget. That is so much more attractive than the before here. If you put them together and you read both of these, that is so much more attractive than the above example. How to live a $100,000 a year lifestyle on a $20,000 a year budget. The hook here is I'm not teaching you how to save money. I'm teaching you how to live well above your means so that you can live better than people that make more money than you do. That's definitely, you're going to read on and say, I've never heard anybody talk about a $100,000 a year lifestyle on a $20,000 a year budget. But I have heard them talk about saving money, cutting expenses, reducing debts, and stashing cash, and I have preconceived notions about those. So naturally, that's not going to hook me in. But how to live a $100,000 a year lifestyle on a $20,000 a year budget is an excellent hook. I just did a critique for another client of mine who wrote a sales letter that had an excellent hook. It said, here's a new piece of software so easy that an 8-year-old learned how to use it after 10 minutes or something like that. It was something like that. The hook here was, it's not just an easy piece of software. The hook is an 8-year-old could do it in 10 minutes. And then he goes on to explain the story in his copy, how they tested it out. And they weren't going to offer this product unless their 8-year-old, the 8-year-old nephew could work it. And if he couldn't work it, then they weren't going to offer it because they wanted to offer the easiest solution. And he could. And it shows you a demonstration of how it's done and everything. Cool, huh? That's a hook. So the hooks here are unique devices to get people's attention. Now, how do you come up with these hooks? Really, it's simple. You're going to go through your whole worksheet on all the things that you wrote in your offer and your scarcity, story, benefits, proof, and so forth, and you're going to try to find the interesting thing, the really interesting, grabbing hook that's like, you're looking for that thing that pops out at you that's gonna startle you. It's like, whoa! And I'm gonna give you 6 ways of finding this, but you just want to look through and pop it out. The way I came up with this how to live a $100,000 a year lifestyle on a $20,000 a year budget was I was reading through her copy that she wrote and I was critiquing it, and it dawned on me. I saw one line in there, and the line said, "With these techniques, you'll be able to live a better lifestyle than people that make a lot more money than you. I'm like, ooh, that's a dominant appeal. That's a big frustration. If you look at the research, you're like, one of the big frustrations they have is that people that are better off than them are living better lifestyles that are not as deserving. You know, that's one of their frustrations. I was like, ooh, that's a hook. If we can really present that in a cool twist, that would be an excellent hook. So I took that little sentence that she found in her critique, which would have been in your notes, and I'm like, ooh, how can I twist that in a way to make it sound like unique and something they've never seen before that's going to hook them in. So, yeah. So step 6, let's go back to this real fast. So step 7 here, is to come up with your hook by looking through, and I'm going to give you 5 exercises, not 6, that will help you achieve this. The easiest hooks to come up with are a phrase I got from John Carlton called incongruent juxtaposition. This is where you take two things that normally aren't put together and you put them together. And the idea here is that's what makes them unique and that's what grabs your attention. So let me give you some examples of how to use two things that seemingly shouldn't be together, but putting them together to create a hook with incongruent juxtaposition. Okay, I'm at the internetmillionaireRecipe.com. It was a website that I created for a product that I sell, and this is the copy that I wrote. And here's the headline: How a former monk went from 0 to 50,000 plus in less than 6 months with simple, easy to execute internet marketing techniques anyone can follow. So here the hook is, okay, everybody's seen a make money go from 0 to blank in no time flat. Everybody's heard that hook. That appeals old. But how a former monk did it, that's insane. I gotta read about this because it's so incongruent. Normally you don't read about monks making money on the internet. So that's the hook. And now, just so you understand that I use other elements with that, I'm like, okay, that's kind of outrageous. I need some proof to back that up. So I put a picture of me on a magazine. And right there it says in the quote, Jason Fladlin, local hip-hop artist and worshiper of Krishna, plays his drum on the riverfront where he goes to relax and chant. So then I talk about how I used to be a monk, and then that's actually led me on the path to discovering the internet and marketing. Believe it or not, as crazy as it sounds, that's actually my former stint as living a monk lifestyle actually led me to marketing, which led me to internet marketing. And I explained that, and I explained that's my story. Well, I found that hook when I sat down in my little thought organizer, my information organizer worksheet for my copy, and I was like, bing, obviously that's the hook to go with. And so that was the hook that I went with. So incongruent juxtaposition. Let me give you some other ways that you can, some other good copywriting sources that you can check out for incongruent juxtaposition. I'm over here at ohpdirect.com/product.php, and there's a ton of great golf ads written here by John Carlton. Now, check out the most famous incongruent juxtaposition of all time in advertising. Here's one of the ads. Amazing secret discovered by one-legged golfer. Adds 50 yards to your drives, eliminate hooks and slices. It can slash up to 10 strokes from your game almost overnight. So here the hook is, okay, everybody's heard about how to hit the ball longer and further in golf, but man, what would really grab their attention? Oh, I know, if they learned the secret from an amazing secret from a one-leg golfer, because if a one-leg golfer could do it, anybody could do it. But the hook here is the incongruent juxtaposition. A one-leg golfer and hitting the ball farther. Nobody's ever seen that before, so that's going to hook your attention. So that's great use of two things that shouldn't be together that are put together. Here's another one for the golf market. How in the heck does this 130-pound old geezer consistently hit super accurate 300-plus yard drives while humiliating younger, stronger, more skilled golfers? Okay, old geezers that weigh 130 pounds aren't supposed to hit the ball far, but this one is, so that's the hook. That's the incongruent juxtaposition. Here's another one. How a completely self-taught pipsqueak golfer ignored everything the so-called experts teach and stumbled on the one big darn secret to instantly adding dozens of laser-accurate yards to your tee shots, especially if you're too short, too tall, or too out of shape. Pipsqueak, okay, a little pipsqueak that taught himself. Ignore the experts. That's the hook. That's the hook there. That's a good hook. Here's another hook. They all snickered at the nearly crippled overweight golfer as he hobbled up to the tee box until he promptly blasted a perfect 275-yard drive straight down the fairway. This is a knockoff on an old John Caples. They all laughed when I sat down at the piano, but when I started to play. Here, the thing is, nearly crippled overweight golfer hobbling up to the tee box. That's the incongruent juxtaposition in this ad. Here's another one. How a skinny little golf genius from California accidentally started hitting 425-yard tee shots. Two things that shouldn't belong together are skinny little golf genius and then accidentally hitting these huge cannon shots. Without a doubt, the first place I turn to for a hook is incongruent juxtaposition. That is the best hooks if you can have. Not every one of them has an amazing story, but if they do, man, that's the thing you got to put them together. The two things that don't belong, put them together in your headline, and then use that combined with benefits is a great way to write your headline. And then as soon as you're done with the hook, you want to launch to that in your copy, and I'll show you exactly how to do that in a later video. So incongruent juxtaposition is a great hook. Another hook is instant gratification. If I can't use an incongruent juxtaposition, my second thing I go through is instant gratification. So let me show you how that works. Exhibit 1, instantcontentcreation.com. Okay, this is a copy I wrote. How to write a 400-word article in 7 minutes or less, including research and proofreading. Pretty simple, huh? Instant gratification. Here the hook is, I can show you something that nobody else can show you. Very specifically to get instant results. Great hook. Okay, here's two hooks combined together, actually. I guarantee with $100 of my own money that I can show you how to create a high-quality info product in less than 2 days. Here it's instant gratification, but I even took it one step further. I offered them something that nobody else was willing to offer, and that's going to get their attention. The unusual element that I call this. When I was looking through my research, I was like, okay, I wrote this killer guarantee. That's got to be the hook. The hook is so unusual because the guarantee is what's unusual. $100 of my own money. That's the hook. So when I combine those two together, that's a double hook. The hook is instant gratification combined with an unusual guarantee. And another example that I did is the ghostwritingsystem.com here, how to become a $40 an hour internet ghostwriter in less than 7 days, guaranteed. The hook here is instant gratification. Here's how you make a good salary, an hourly wage, in less than 7 days. Simple hook. Now let's see how they do it over here at OHP Direct. Give me 5 minutes and I'll force you to get so good at driving with power and accuracy that you'll be able to hit 200-yard tee shots while kneeling on one knee. Okay, there's actually there's a little bit of a juxtaposition, incongruent juxtaposition here, because you can't hit them kneeling on one knee normally. But the other one is the instant gratification. That's a good hook. Do it quicker than any time you've ever seen it before. Let's look at another example. How to teach your own darn self how to play amazingly good golf in just 7 minutes. That's the hook. Instant gratification. Here's another one. If you've got 19 minutes before you head out to play your next round of golf, I will show you how to knock 10 strokes off your score. It's simple, it's easy, and I guarantee it will work for you or I'll pay you $10. You can kind of see where I get the ideas for my copy. Okay, instant gratification, 19 minutes. Okay, unusual guarantee. That's the element of instant gratification plus the unusual element, a guarantee that's out of the norm. So the second thing I usually go to is instant gratification. In this case, is you're showing them that your solution is different than every other solution because you can put a specific number and date on it and it's stressed to an instant benefit because that's what everybody really wants. Okay, so another way to come up with a hook is why should my prospect choose my product instead of any other available alternative? This is your unique selling position. This is all you really need for your hook. If you have no interesting incongruent juxtaposition, the instant gratification is a very specific answer to this question, and it's my favorite, most powerful one. That's why I created it by itself as its own step. But another thing is to consider is why should my prospect choose my product instead of any other available alternative? And this is, what does your product do that nothing else does on the market that your reader wants? What can you do better than anybody else, or what do you offer that nobody else offers? If you can do that, then you can go with a simple benefit-driven headline. And let me give you some examples of that. Here's one. Hate to practice but still want to add 80 laser target yards to your tee shots, and check this out. Here's the hook. The hook here is, we're not selling you how to hit longer, straighter drives, but we're selling it specifically to somebody who doesn't want to practice. So ours is geared for the person who doesn't want to practice. Okay, the hook here is the unusual guarantee. Again, this is kind of like I've showed you before with the unusual element. It's a specific thing. Your product is better than anyone else because it has less risk involved in it. So I guarantee with my own money that you will shoot your lowest score ever on your next round of golf. Here's another hook. This one's for golfers who screw up on every drive and still can do it, still can save par and be lazy. The lazy golfer's guide to saving par, even if you screw up on every drive. So here the hook is not longer, straighter drives or longer thing. It's like, here's how to screw up and still do pretty good. I mean, that's a cool hook. That's what your product offers that no other product on the market is going after, that segment, that benefit, or that element of what your product can do for them. So those are just some examples of how you can position your product to do something that no other product on the market does. So it's a hook because your reader's never seen something like it before, so it's unique. Other ways to come up with your hook is to look for the unusual element. Go through your copy and go through your thought organizer, your information organizer worksheet that I've included in this video where you answered each question through steps 1 through 6, and then look for the unusual element, the element that sticks out, the element that makes your product unique, the element that's going to grab their most attention, and that's what you should be putting in your headline. and then study the examples that I showed you there by going to that page. And there's other pages in the resource guide that I've given you on how to ferret out those elements. And then once you come up with your hook, put that in your headline, right? And start your opening paragraph with that, because you want to follow up on your headline and your opening paragraph with that hook. And then after that, you can position all the rest of your elements that we've done so far in steps 1 through 6, which are getting into what you offer, coming up with why it scares, developing your story, creating your benefits, and proving your case. And that's really all you got to do once you come up with your hook. So that's step 7, is to come up with that hook to grab their attention right away. And then once you get their attention, you can start it on your story, or you can mention your benefits and then start on your story. Or if you have some sort of unusual scarcity thing, you can mention the scarcity right up front, tell them what they're going to get, and then get into your story, and then your benefits, and then your proof or whatever. You could organize any of these in any way you think is going to be most effective for you to sell your product, but that's after you've came up with the hook to get their attention and then open up the copy with that. Then you can position everything else for maximum persuasion, but that's so important, and that's step 7. And the reason you say that's step 7 is because you have all of your other stuff taken care of, so you can look at all your information you've created that you're going to put in your copy, and from that you can find the hook. You can find the unusual element, the one that sticks out, or the incongruent juxtaposition. You can think that one up, or you can use the angle of instant gratification. Or you can take all the information that you ferreted out and that you're going to put in your copy and find out the best piece of information or the best part of your product that you offer that nobody else offers, and that can be your hook. And really all you're looking for is what piece of information is going to grab my reader's attention most. That's the question that you want to answer. And that's all there is to coming up with a hook. So thank you for watching this video. Put it to use for you, and I will see you in video 8.